Hey YouTube, I wanted to make a video for you guys to tell the difference between the 1970S small date Lincoln cent and the 1970S large date Lincoln cent. Um, in my opinion, this is one of the more difficult coins to differentiate between the two. You can start looking through them and your eyes will start playing tricks on you if you don't have a trained eye. When I first started looking through 1970S Lincoln cents, it was very difficult for me to tell. And I haven't seen very many videos with up close pictures of the actual coins on YouTube. So I'm going to go over a few markers on how to tell the difference and what you can look for. The 1970S large date is by far more common than the small date. The 1970S large date had a mintage of approximately 690,560,000. According to PCGS's website, they are not sure on the exact number of small date Lincoln cents from 1970, but an approximation is between 250,000 and 300,000, which is a very low mintage, especially compared to the large date. So I'm going to show you a picture here in this book, and then I'm going to show you the coins. And I'm going to go over some markers on what to look for. So the 1970S large date, if you look at the top of the 9 and you look at the top of the 0, let's say you were to draw a line from the 9 to the 0, the line, the 7 would be underneath the line, slightly below the line. And another way that you can tell is if you look at the 9 here. Let me get this here. If you look at where the end of the 9 points, it points to the bottom of the 7. I don't know if you can see that. Those are two different key ways to tell a large date. Now the small date, the 9, if you notice, it is a drastic hook. And if you look at the tail end of this 9 here and go over, it points toward the middle of the 7. Also, if you were to draw a line on top of the 9 and the 0, the 7 would be right on the line. The 7 is not below that imaginary line between the 9 and the 0. It would be right on the line. So I'm going to show you some pictures of some close-ups of the coins here, so you can see a real example of both. So the 1970S, this is a large date right here. So if you look here, if you were to draw that imaginary line, the 7 would be below that line, and the end of the 9 is pointing, the end of the hook of that 9 is pointing toward the bottom of the 7. So that is definitely a large date. Now, when you look at the small date next to it, if you look at that hook of the 9, that is definitely pointing toward the middle of the 7. And that 7 is also much higher. It is right in line with the top of the 9 and the 0, and it's not low like the large date. Another thing to look for on 1970S small dates, is Liberty. The word Liberty is it's not well defined on the B and the E and the R. It's kind of blurry, kind of mushy, whereas when you compare it to the large date, most of the time Liberty is well defined and pronounced. So search your 1970s Lincoln Cents for the small date variety. It does command a premium, especially in the higher grades. So it is definitely one you want to look for. And if you just keep practicing and referencing photos, you should be able to tell, especially if you have two different coins to compare it to. So I hope this video helped you out, and thank you for watching.